Cadbury Dairy Milk or KitKat?
Most people pick dairy milk without even thinking. But why?
Why do billions prefer its smooth melt, its rich taste, and its perfect bite, while KitKat, the supposed classic, falls far behind? And here's the kicker. It's not flavor, it's not marketing, it's not even milk. There's a hidden reason why dairy milk dominates. Taste why it's produced on a scale KitKat could never match, and why most people don't even realize it. By the end of this video, you'll know the full truth. The answer will make you rethink everything you thought you knew about chocolate. But to get there, you can't skip ahead. You need to see the journey, the process, the hidden mastery behind every single bar. Stay with me, because the story behind why dairy milk wins is far more shocking than you ever imagined.
The reason dairy milk tastes the way it does is decided long before the chocolate is ever made.
Most people imagine chocolate begins inside a factory. It doesn't.
It begins near the equator, in hot, humid regions where cocoa trees grow under very specific conditions. These trees are extremely sensitive. A slight shift in temperature, too much wind, or inconsistent rainfall can weaken an entire crop. That's why only a narrow belt on Earth is suitable for producing high-quality cocoa. When the pods are ready, they aren't shaken loose or harvested by machines. Each one is carefully cut by hand to protect the tree. Inside the thick shell are rows of pale beans covered in a sticky pulp, and at this stage, they smell nothing like chocolate. Flavor hasn't been created yet. That transformation begins with fermentation. The beans are placed into wooden boxes where natural heat builds over several days. Sugars break down, acids develop, and the chemical foundation of chocolate flavor starts forming deep inside the bean. Get this step wrong, and no factory in the world can repair the taste later. After fermentation, the beans are spread under the sun to dry. Workers rotate them constantly to prevent mold and control moisture. The goal is precision, because beans that are too wet can spoil, and beans that are too dry can roast unevenly.
Consistency starts here, not on the production line.
Once dried, the beans travel thousands of miles to reach the factory, but arrival doesn't guarantee acceptance. Every shipment goes through strict inspection. Technicians check size, color, aroma, internal structure, and fat content. Random samples are cut open. Some are roasted immediately in small test batches just to evaluate their flavor potential. Only beans that meet exact standards move forward, because when someone unwraps a dairy milk bar anywhere in the world, it has to taste familiar, smooth, rich, and dependable. That level of consistency is engineered from the very first ingredient. Milk selection follows the same philosophy. Fresh milk is tested for fat and protein levels because these two elements quietly control how creamy the chocolate feels once it melts. Even seasonal changes matter. What cows eat and the climate they live in can slightly alter the milk's composition, so adjustments are constantly made to protect the signature texture. Then comes sugar, refined into extremely fine particles so it blends seamlessly into the chocolate. If the crystals are too large, the tongue detects graininess instantly. Chocolate may feel simple, but behind it is careful chemistry. By the time cocoa, milk, and sugar are approved for production, something important has already been secured: the foundation of the taste people recognize within seconds. Most consumers never see this stage, but every bite begins here. Now the ingredients are ready, but they still don't taste like chocolate, because the next step is where raw beans finally meet heat and flavor is truly born.
Chocolate doesn't taste like chocolate until it survives fire. When the cocoa beans enter the factory, they still don't carry the flavor you recognize. What they hold is potential locked inside a hard shell. Releasing that potential requires heat, but not just any heat. Industrial roasting drums warm the beans at carefully controlled temperatures. Too hot and the beans burn, creating bitterness. Too cool and the flavor remains underdeveloped. There is a narrow window where transformation happens perfectly. As the beans rotate inside massive roasters, something remarkable begins. Complex chemical reactions awaken deep cocoa notes, soften natural acidity, and develop the aroma most people associate instantly with chocolate. For the first time in this journey, the factory smells unmistakably rich. Roasting is not rushed. Sensors constantly track temperature curves, airflow, and time. Even a difference of seconds can shift the final taste profile. Because chocolate flavor isn't added later, it is built right here. Once roasting is complete, the beans cool gradually to stabilize their structure. Sudden cooling could create internal stress fractures, affecting how they grind later. Precision continues step after step. At this point, the beans are darker, more brittle, and intensely aromatic. What began as something closer to fermented fruit has now evolved into the recognizable foundation of chocolate.
But they are still not ready because flavor alone isn't enough. Texture is what your brain remembers next.
Now that the flavor is unlocked, the next step will determine whether the chocolate feels rough or melts effortlessly the moment it touches your tongue.
The difference between ordinary chocolate and unforgettable chocolate is measured in microns.
After roasting, the beans move to cracking machines that break the shells apart. Powerful streams of air separate the lightweight husks from the valuable inner pieces, known as cocoa nibs. These nibs are pure chocolate essence, but they're still solid. To transform them, the nibs pass through heavy grinding mills. Under immense pressure, they release natural cocoa butter, melting into a thick, flowing paste called cocoa liquor. Despite the name, there is no alcohol here, just concentrated chocolate. Heat generated during grinding helps liquefy the mixture further, creating a glossy, dark stream that looks closer to molten chocolate than anything seen before in the process. Yet something is missing: smoothness. If you tasted it now, the texture would feel gritty. That's because the particles are still too large for the human tongue, which can detect roughness surprisingly easily. So the chocolate is refined again and again until particle sizes shrink dramatically. Smaller particles mean silkier melt. What feels effortless when eating chocolate is actually the result of relentless mechanical precision. Now the chocolate is ready for one of the most important and least understood stages of all: conching. Because making chocolate smooth isn't about mixing, it's about patience.
Silky chocolate is not an accident. It is hours of controlled movement.
Inside enormous conching machines, liquid chocolate is kneaded continuously using rotating blades.
This process can last for hours, sometimes longer.
During conching, three critical things happen simultaneously. Excess moisture evaporates. Harsh acidic notes escape. Particles become even finer. But perhaps most importantly, flavor rounds out. Sharp edges soften. Bitterness balances. The texture evolves from heavy to luxurious. Airflow is carefully managed to carry away unwanted volatiles while preserving the richness that defines milk chocolate. The longer the conching, the smoother the experience.
By the end, the chocolate no longer just pours, it flows.
There's a noticeable difference: thicker than a drink, lighter than a paste, a consistency engineered specifically for indulgence. What your tongue interprets as creamy is actually the outcome of thousands of microscopic adjustments.
And yet the chocolate still isn't finished, because now it needs its defining character. Flavor has depth, texture has silkiness. Now comes the ingredient that gives dairy milk its identity.
This is the moment chocolate stops being dark and becomes comforting.
Measured quantities of milk components enter the flowing chocolate, shifting both color and personality almost immediately.
The deep brown softens into the familiar lighter tone people associate with milk chocolate. But the visual change is only the beginning. Milk fats weave themselves between cocoa particles, influencing how the chocolate melts against body temperature. Instead of holding firm, it begins to surrender faster, creating that signature dissolve people love.
Balance is critical. Too much milk could mute cocoa intensity. Too little could make the chocolate feel heavy.
So ratios are monitored constantly, ensuring the final profile stays rich without becoming overwhelming. Meanwhile, ultra-fine sugar blends in seamlessly, eliminating any chance of graininess. What emerges is harmony, sweetness, creaminess, and cocoa depth, working together instead of competing. By now, the chocolate has become unmistakably recognizable, but one scientific step remains before it can become a bar. Because great chocolate shouldn't just taste perfect, it should look perfect too. Perfect chocolate is controlled crystal structure.
Chocolate contains multiple forms of fat crystals, but only one creates that glossy finish and clean snap.
Tempering is the process that ensures those ideal crystals dominate. The chocolate is cooled, reheated, and stabilized in precise cycles. It may sound simple, but the temperature margins are incredibly tight. Move just a few degrees off target, and the surface can turn dull. Worse, white streaks known as fat bloom may appear later.
Tempered correctly, the chocolate gains durability without losing its delicate melt. It becomes stable enough to hold shape, yet fragile enough to break beautifully.
Science disappears. Pleasure remains. Now, finally, it is ready to become what the world recognizes instantly. After all this precision, the liquid chocolate is about to take its final form. Every bar begins as a perfectly measured pour. Streams of tempered chocolate flow into polished molds, moving steadily along production lines.
Each cavity receives an exact amount, ensuring identical weight and thickness across thousands of bars.
But pouring alone isn't enough. The molds vibrate gently, releasing trapped air bubbles that could otherwise create weak spots or visual imperfections. Then comes cooling, not freezing, cooling. Gradual temperature reduction allows the crystal structure to settle without stress, preserving that signature snap. Minutes later, the molds invert and solid chocolate bars slide free.
Uniform, glossy, recognizable instantly.
After a journey that began on distant farms, chocolate is finally something you could hold in your hand. Yet before it leaves the factory, one final safeguard stands in place. Because consistency isn't trusted to chance, it's verified. Before a bar reaches you, it must prove it deserves to. Random samples are pulled aside constantly. Some are weighed, others are snapped to test structure. Many are melted down for texture analysis. Even packaging alignment is inspected, because presentation shapes expectation before the first bite. This quiet discipline is why the experience feels so reliable. You don't wonder if the chocolate will be good. Your brain already trusts it will be. And that trust is manufactured just as carefully as the chocolate itself. Now the bars move forward, ready to travel far beyond the factory walls. What started as fragile cocoa pods is now prepared to reach millions. Producing great chocolate is impressive. Producing it flawlessly millions of times is mastery. Automated lines operate with near choreography. Bars advance, wrap, seal, and pack in continuous motion. Logistics networks stand ready to move them across cities, countries, and continents. Temperature-controlled transport protects texture during transit, ensuring the chocolate melts only when it should in your mouth. What feels like a simple snack is actually the endpoint of a global system engineered for consistency. And this scale matters more than most people realize, because preference often follows reliability. When people know exactly what pleasure awaits inside a wrapper, they return to it again and again.
Which brings us back to the question we started with.
Let's go back to the question that started all of this.
Why do billions instinctively reach for dairy milk over KitKat? The answer was never on the packaging. It was inside the process. This chocolate isn't just manufactured, it is engineered to melt. More milk, finer particles, longer conching. Every step is designed for one powerful outcome. The moment it touches your tongue, it disappears. No resistance, no delay, just instant creaminess. And your brain loves that. Because foods that melt faster feel richer, more rewarding, more indulgent. So your decision isn't logical.
It's neurological.
Before you even think, your brain remembers the sensation. While layered chocolates deliver crunch, dairy milk delivers surrender, effortless pleasure.
And in a world where the brain chooses in seconds, and the product that feels better wins.
Not once, but repeatedly. That is why dairy milk dominates. Not because people analyze it, but because their brain already decided. Smooth is comfort, creaminess is reward, and reward builds loyalty. What looks like a simple chocolate bar is actually the result of global sourcing, scientific precision, and relentless quality control.
Now the next time you unwrap a dairy milk, you won't just taste chocolate, you'll understand the mastery behind it.
If you enjoyed uncovering the hidden process behind one of the world's most familiar products, subscribe to my channel.
Because once you see how everyday favorites are truly made, you never look at them the same way again.